I'm Cindaria, and welcome to our chat we're having about episode 8, the finale of season 3 of The Wheel of Time, which was amazing. And we wanted to talk a little bit about how our theories did or didn't work out from our last video. And then we also have a show only guest here. This is Laura. Hi, Laura. Thanks for showing up.
Hello.
So we are going to keep this chat is going to be spoiler free. So our guesses that we had last time, we're still going to keep spoiler free. So please, in the chat, keep it show only, no book spoilers if you're a book reader. All right. And for our guests too. So we did have some guesses last week about what like the cold open would be, who might live and who might die, and it was all over the place, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think some of our
Yeah.
guesses were great
Yeah.
and some not so good. So the cold open, I feel like all of you nailed pretty well. A lot of you were, it was going to be the tower, and it was going to be like, who was it that said it was going to be the historical past? So Koala, good guess on the
Nailed
opening
it.
scene. Nailed it. Yep.
Yeah. And I was right about her and the elf and the fin and her
I
bracelet. So
That
Yeah.
was, yeah, you did nail that. That's where she got the bracelet, was in that redstone door frame. So I think what we're going to do is a little bit, let's start out by talking a little bit just in general about the show and like how we're enjoying it, what we're feeling about it and everything. Because like how did we like episode 8 and how did we like the season as a whole? And I am going to be annoying and start with Laura. So what did you think just of this episode?
I really liked it.
Yeah.
And I think that the show has only gotten better since I've started watching it. You know, obviously they had some hiccups because of, when they were shooting the first season. And so, I'm glad that they were able to come back from that. And in my opinion, only gotten better. I really, really liked how the season ended.
Awesome. Yeah. It feels like season 3 has been not just a step above, because I think like it felt like season 2 was like a step above season 1. Season 3 feels like a couple of steps even above. Like it really went hard.
Yeah, like
So-
kaiju steps. I mean, not just a little one.
Yeah.
Godzilla stomping step above. So I'm here for it.
Oh,
Okay, look who's in the
absolutely.
chat. It's Birgitta Silverbow, one of the heroes of the horn, right here in our chat. Hi, Birgitta. Hello. Alrighty. So, what did you think about it, Matt, of the season as a whole and episode 8?
As we said, the season is just a huge leap forward, I think. I had a couple episodes where there was some pacing that was whiplashes, where we went really fast, but I also understand why we have to do that sometimes. Overall, best season yet, and this finale, without a doubt, best season ender they've had yet.
Yeah, really stuck the landing this time.
Agreed.
So, what about you, Koala? How are you feeling overall now that it's over? Is the longing setting in already?
How am I feeling now it's over? Oh, yeah, that's a different story altogether. No, look, as a season, I would pretty much rank my enjoyment of the episodes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's really quite funny because a lot of people have 4 as the number 1, but I loved 4, but then it just kept going upwards for me. They just rounded it off, and no book spoilers, but it is like the books. We like to say that books 1, 2, and 3 are the prologue for the series, and book 4 is when you actually get in and it hits its stride, and that's exactly how the seasons have gone. Yeah,
How it's
so it's
feeling.
perfect.
Okay. Normally I have my notes up on my computer, but I'm having issues with my computer today, so I got notes on my phone here. Did I miss anybody there? Oh yeah, I didn't ask you, Nynaeve. How are you feeling about it? I mean,
I already really miss it. Like, I've gotten so used to Thursday being my
my Wheel of Time day. Like I always have my Wheel of Time mug, and I drink all my drinks out of my Wheel of Time mug on a Thursday, and then I watch the show. And my husband was giving it to me yesterday, and I was like, oh, but it's not Thursday, and I went, oh, oh no, it's over. I have no more Thursdays.
No more new episodes.
No more new episodes. But you know what? I did really like episode 8. It took me a long time to process it.
There was a lot going
I think
on.
I found it very, yeah. But even at that, it was like at the end, I needed time to reflect on everything that had happened. Yeah, there was a lot of moments where I was like, ah, yay, you know, and I was like, ah, we got that prediction right, and I was really happy about certain things. But then there were some elements I was like, I need to stew that before I make up my mind whether or not I was 100% game with it. So I needed to rationalize it. I needed to think through the process, all the decisions before I came to a conclusion as to whether or not, you know, I was behind it. And I think having done 3 film studies modules and done adaptations and stuff like that in college, I agree with everything that was done. And because of that, I was able to really enjoy the episode the second time round watching it, because I had better clarity and better understanding, if that makes sense.
Right, like why some things happened the way they did.
Yeah, exactly.
I actually picked up a lot more on my second
Decisions.
rewatch. Normal, I'm so bad at that,
Mm,
but
mm.
so do we want to just like talk a little bit about the episode in general before we
Oh,
start in
where
on
to
our
start?
it is hard to figure out where to start. So in episode 8 specifically, did you find anything super surprising? And if so, what, like, you were just like, oh my gosh. I'll start again with Laura. Like, what was the most surprising moment of the episode for you?
So normally I'm better at predicting things in shows, just because like you spend enough time studying like theater and script and that kind of thing. It's like you can see things coming. And man, they telegraphed the betrayal of Suin from like 100 yards away, and I still was just so shocked when it happened. It really knocked me down.
Yeah. I think that knocked the whole
I felt-
fandom down.
Oh
None of
my
us,
Yeah,
God.
I mean,
kind of.
yeah, we knew the betrayal was coming, but the rest of it, I think, was quite the shock to the entire fandom. Like, very painful. Matt, what did you
Yeah, the
feel
betrayal,
about
her
it?
death, everything.
Yeah, the death was, and her speech
I mean,
was like, as far as a monologue goes, she might have had the best monologue of the season there at the very end.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Sorry, Matt,
the
go
most
ahead.
surprising thing in the episode for me was we got the Finn. I honestly didn't think if we got them, I didn't think we would get them until season 4. That was my prediction. Totally wrong, and happy to be wrong. As far as Swan's death, I'm like, I sort of saw it coming. It made sense story wise the way they were going. That's the reason I'm like, I think they might.
She was on our dead
So-
or alive list last time, so
Yeah.
we knew there was a
Yeah, who
potential,
said
but
dead
still.
last time?
I don't remember. I'm gonna have to rewatch our whole episode. Did you?
It
Both
was
of you
me and
did?
Nynaeve.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Good for you guys. You saw that.
I was
episode.
watching it. Yeah.
So, what did you think about the Finn,
Uh,
Laura? The weird, alien-ish, animal person.
Foxman.
Foxman. Yes, exactly.
Very creepy, extremely creepy.
Yes.
I read the Vulture article and then I went back and rewatched it because I knew I was missing some stuff, and it made more sense the second time. That you kind of get 3 wishes, I guess, is the concept. Yeah.
I think I'm having technical issue, guys. I can't hear Laura.
Okay, I hear her fine. So,
Yeah,
does
no,
anyone else?
I can hear her
I
fine.
hear her fine.
No, I'm not. Hang on. Give me 2
Okay,
secs.
sure. It is
Talk
one of the more
amongst
surprising
yourselves.
things because Wheel of Time has some things in it that you almost call tropey, but it also goes places that are very strange. It has a lot of sci-fi elements and stuff that that come into it. And I think the Finn was one of the ones that some of the book readers expected might just get entirely left out and explained, like, whatever their story points were, their story beats that had to be hit would happen some other way. So I think we were kind of surprised to see them included at all in a way, but it was really cool that they did. And they looked, I don't know that I ever was able to picture what they looked like. Like what the thing, like where they were was really well described, but I don't know what the Finn looked like. So it was a really cool depiction.
Yeah,
But it
I
was
agree.
shocking.
And the outfit. I don't know if anybody watched the Dusty Wheel interview with Sharon Gilliam, but the body parts that were included, like the entire spine was noses and ears. And when you go back and watch it, it's so creepy. It's so
Yeah, and
well
with all
done.
the skeletons on the floor, it is like there's an awareness for the audience growing that they eat people or and wear them. So
Yeah, they wear them.
very creepy.
They wear them. Yeah. I don't know if
Yes.
they eat them.
Yeah, I don't know either. You're right. They
I
eat
don't know that they eat them, but
they eat their essence, I guess, but they do skin them.
but he was wise to ask for a way out
Yes. Yeah.
because most people don't, obviously.
Yeah,
So
might want to add
Brigitte-
unharmed onto that way.
Unharmed. Correct.
Next time, add the
Just saying.
caveat. So Brigitte in chat says that she was surprised that Rand and Moraine had that open and honest conversation. That was a wonderful scene with a lot of growth for Rand, and Moraine crying a little bit at it. Like she got emotional that he was just saying that to her was pretty awesome. Like he's like, yeah, I know this has been hard, but I see what you're doing. It was pretty cool. Yeah, it was a really good scene. So let's see. What else about episode 8? There was so much stuff. Nynaeve's little thing. Like, I'm curious, Laura, do
was
you
my
understand what happened
surprise.
to Nynaeve when she got thrown in the water and then became Moses for a second?
So she had the flashback where she remembers her daughter from when she went through the arches, and I don't know, maybe got her powers through the power of love, her strength from the power of love. Is that kind of?
Yeah, I
That's
think
accurate. Yeah.
that does seem like what it felt like. So was it clear? Does everybody think that her block is broken? Was it clear to a show reader that that's what's, or a show watcher that that's what's happening? That she's getting rid of that issue that she has where she can't channel 99% of the time. I'm actually not even sure it's clear to me as a, right, is that what's happening?
Really?
I mean, did it show?
Wow.
I
I
was
thought
not
they showed
100%.
it clearly.
Yeah.
Mm.
Her expression at the end, she seems to
Her
really be kind of
facial
embracing it.
acting.
She's like joyful.
That expression does make it a little clear that is what's going on.
Yeah, you could tell that she could feel that link to
it's
Sidar
there
now.
now.
That yeah, haha, I've got it. Yeah, I thought they
Okay.
portrayed
God
well.
help us all.
What about the balefire? What did you think? So Koala just did a little video on it. What did you think about the balefire rod that you see happen? So it's one of the Black Aja comes out and tries to hit Matt and Elaine. Not Matt and Elaine, sorry. It's Tom and Elaine with it. And then Elaine comes back, knocks her on the head, takes it, and nukes her with it. So was it clear to you what was going on there? Was that something you had to ask your husband for clarification for? Was that like a good visual representation?
I did, and I'm not going to say what he told me because I don't even know if he's remembering it correctly, but yeah, I was like, well, clearly that was more than just dying, like something happened. She kind of reversed a little bit
Correct.
before disappearing. So like it's sort of clear, but not 100% for me.
Okay. I think that's still a good, the fact that you noticed that she reversed a little bit, I think is enough. That's enough for a show watcher. That's what my husband said. He said, oh, she went back in time like a minute. And I was like, that's close enough. Yeah, if that's what you're getting out of it, then that's good. I'm sorry, Nynaeve is having more technical difficulties. Yeah, it's no worry, Nynaeve. You can fix it when you get a chance here. We'll be patient. Come back and pester her more. So let's see what else. There was so much stuff happening in this episode. Like so much stuff. I don't know if I have. Oh, okay. One of the other things that on second watch that I noticed is before Alcar doll when Rand is going down into the bowl to speak to everybody. He's standing up and he looks over at the horizon briefly, like he's just having a, staring into the middle distance, brooding hero moment because very Jon Snow. But he's looking off into the distance and there's a figure in the distance. And then when they cut back again, the figure's gone, a black figure. So I didn't see that the first time I watched it. I don't know. I think it's
Can we really talk about that?
Detail. Well, we can. I was wondering if Laura noticed it. Yeah, okay.
Totally
So
missed
it's like
that.
small detail. So we're probably not going to discuss it too much, but if you do get a chance to
That's what I
rewatch it.
said. Can we talk
Yeah,
about that?
I'm like we kind of can't.
Okay.
But I am curious if and when, because there's a lot of little details like that going on in the show, which I think on rewatch people might be going, "What the heck is that about?" What else was going on?
But I
Does anybody
did
else have
love the Gathering Storm. It
The
was,
Gathering
Oh
Storm?
yeah, that was amazing.
just
and the rain and the
amazing. And
waste?
Laura, did you notice that when he made it rained everywhere, all around the world?
No, it was everywhere. I thought it was just in the desert. That's so cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when they went to the tower, the clouds were starting to come over Tarvalon too.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And on
I
the
think
boat and
Nynaeve's
everything.
back.
Yeah.
He changed the weather
Mm.
because the dragon
No,
is one
Neve,
with
we
the
can't
land.
see you.
Oh, is she in there now? Oh, hold on. Let me see if I need to re-add her. 1 second. Maybe she rejoined us.
Ah.
That's going to be a me thing. I didn't know she was back there. Thank you for letting me know. I'll get her in here. That is the wrong thing. There we go. Okay.
Yeah.
Just give it a second. There she is. How's it working?
Yeah,
Oh,
much better.
good to see you back.
Good to see you. Yeah, it popped up over the White Cloak camp. They showed it at
Yep.
Tarvon.
Yeah.
The thunder was heard by Mogedion, and she looks up.
That's what was going on with Mogideon. I was wondering that was a weird angle
Yeah.
with her veil on and everything. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Can I just make one comment?
Of
I've
course.
heard a few people say, like, and so Nynaeve got her power back, but then they just took off. But I think what they didn't make it quite clear enough was when Leandrin walked off after she threw Nynaeve in the water, she left.
Mhm.
Right. She didn't stay in Tanchico. She was gone. And that's why they're on a boat and they're leaving. Because otherwise, yes, Nynaeve would have gone after Leandrin with
Yeah,
her full
so
power,
I wasn't clear on that
absolutely.
too.
But they didn't make that real clear. But it's obvious that Leandrin, she was out of there as fast as
Silver,
anything.
my daughter assumed that what happened was Leandrin and Mogideon did make a compact because we just see them talking and then we see
Correct.
right. So she's like,
Correct.
okay, well apparently
Yes,
they
they
did
are
come
working
to some
together.
kind of an agreement, but it's sort of an off-screen thing happening, and they must
Yes.
be off doing whatever they're doing with the bracelets and the collar.
Well, they're off to look for Rand now. Yeah.
Right. So
Right.
and that, otherwise, yeah, of course the girls would have stayed and tried to get the collar and bracelets back.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's just
yeah.
implied, I guess. But you're right. Yeah, it's such a short. Everything has to be crammed. I think the only complaint I have with season 3 is some of the pacing, as Matt brought up, and that's almost inevitable. I don't know that they can fix that. There's so much information to cram into 8 episodes.
Yeah.
Even long
Right.
episodes.
Yeah,
5
I
more
think-
minutes every episode would have fixed it.
Yeah. And I think it really highlighted why they really need to have that extra episode or 2 in a season,
Or
like
12.
maybe even a full 10.
Yeah, 10 or 12, that would do it.
Because
Because we basically got an extra episode this season. You know, we got pretty much 5 minutes more
They were
on
good long
every
episodes.
episode,
Yeah.
which, you know, added together basically gave us another episode, and you bet you don't notice it.
One of my favorite
So-
things
don't-
about this season was the amount of time they spent giving each character those little moments that really make a difference, building not just their character but their relationships with other characters, and so it really sets up a lot of stuff so much better so that you're feeling things, because I think that was one of the problems in season 1 is by the end of it you're not really like, you don't care enough about these characters, but by now they're really connecting you with these small moments so that when the big things happen, you really care. So I really, really appreciate
In
that
other
about
words,
season
big
3.
things haven't happened yet.
Big
Oh
thing.
yeah,
Well,
there's
it's the wheel of
way
time.
more
Big
to
things
come.
continually
Way
happen. So if we want to, do you guys want to talk about, okay, so we did make out kind of some questions we wanted to discuss that were more spoiler free kind of discussion on this. So I promise I won't ask Laura first every single time, but this one I want to ask her first because I am curious. If you were an Aes Sedai, what color Aja would you choose and why?
Ooh. I was tempted just to pick a color based on what I thought would go well with my skin tone, but I'm not going to do that.
That's understandable.
In fact, I did the opposite. I think I would be yellow.
So a healer.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
That's
Yeah,
wonderful.
I like their whole vibe.
Yeah, the yellows have
wow.
a very cool vibe. So
Yeah.
what about you? Let's go with Nynaeve. I think I haven't asked you.
I'm full on brown Aja. I couldn't be anything else. The first time I found out what all the different Ajas were and what each color was, I knew straight away I was brown. There's no doubt about it. I used to be a bookseller. I'm academic. I'm a student at the moment, and I was an archaeologist. So no better place for someone like me than the brown Aja.
So Matt, when I back in the late 90s, I role played in a White Tower, like online, and they let men in because they just enjoyed the whole concept, especially the like the Age of Legends kind of idea. So
Right.
what would you pick?
Quick question: who's the Armerlin? Because that does affect my decision.
Not Elida.
Mm.
Let's just say not Elida.
Okay,
Someone else. One of the other.
definitely green.
Warrior.
Yeah, well, I've always had a protective streak when it came to my siblings, and of course, my kids and everything else. And I'm like, I think that's where I would fit best. So,
What about you, Koala?
Well, I actually had quite a long time where I thought that I was a blend of two Arjas, and it took me a while to figure out that I'm not. So I thought that I was blue and brown because blues they have a mission and they go for that, and I've always been like that. But I finally realised that with all of my conservation and environmental work that I do, um, it's the way that I do it is that I record information and I observe, and then I create educational content to
That's true. That's what
document
you do.
and share that documentation. And it's like, okay, I do have a cause, but I am brown through and through in how I work for that cause. So
Right.
finally
You're
I
not like
put
out
my
holding the
blue
sign.
shawl down
That's
and
awesome. All
I'm just
right.
brown. Hmm.
it was
Okay,
great to
weird.
see the shows in the cold
Oh
open.
yeah,
By the
you
way,
got to see that.
first time we got to
Ooh,
see it.
yes,
Oh,
with those flames, yeah.
Hmm.
yeah, and it was
That's
cool. I
cool.
want one. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes, yes.
Mm.
Amazon, make them.
I I hate to pick this, but this one I don't see picked very often. I think if they all have an appeal, right? Like every single Aja except red probably has an appeal. But I think I would pick white, which is insane.
Hmm.
It's like I like the color white, but I like philosophy, and I
Wow.
think that I would end up being what essentially is a philosophy major, and that's what the whites really are. I mean, they say logic, but that's what they are. They'd be talking about, why people do what they do, and so yeah. I know the gray Aja has a little bit of appeal to me too, but it would be hard. But I think I'd end up a white, which is I know we don't see many white Aja, just recently Alviarin,
Mm.
but
Or grey. Yeah, yeah.
I'm
or gray.
surprised nobody picked black.
I know. Right? My husband would pick black. If you asked him, he'd be like, black Aja, I'm sure.
Uh,
So that's always fun. So this is like our next one was which characters we identify with and why, which is really hard again because there's so many great characters. This you can also like talk about who's your favorite character, which might be completely different with who you identify with. So let's go backwards from that. Nynaeve?
Oh God. Do you know, I don't know who I would identify with the most. I'm a very insecure person in reality, so I probably would be very much like my namesake. I mean, I do have a bit of a temper, as my wonderful husband would tell you. Um, so yeah, and I like to look after people. Um, I'd say I'd be very like Nynaeve. My insecurities and my anxieties would hold me back quite a lot. So yeah, namesake, Nynaeve for the win.
What about you, Matt?
Honestly, how I am like here online and different forums and things like that is completely different than I am in person. I'm much more introspective. So Perrin has always spoke to me because 90% of my
Ah.
world when I'm out in the real world is in my head. So I definitely think Perrin was a character I identified most with.
That's awesome. You don't hear that a lot. I think a lot of, yeah, that's, he's such a good character, honestly, in the books too. How about you, Koala?
Matt.
Yeah, Matt?
Yeah. Yeah. What's going on in my head is nothing to do with what I'm appearing out in the world. Yeah.
That's
That's
Matt. Yeah,
true.
you got it.
Yeah.
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 What
Yeah.
about
In
you,
my head,
Laura?
I'm grumbling all
Oh,
the
that's
time.
funny. What about you, Laura? Do you have anybody in the show that like appeals to you?
Yeah, so it's kind of two. The first one is Lan because I just I always like a character that's like really loyal and likes to show up to support other people. You know, the the guy who's just gonna like see it through to the end kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then also Matt, but for different reasons. He's just a silly little guy. He's here for a good time, at least outwardly.
Hmm.
He
um,
is.
he deals with like all of the stuff that's going on in his head by just trying to have fun and that kind of thing. And God, I feel like he has this thing where he kind of like acts, or like he says more than he should. He acts a little quicker than he thinks, maybe. At least that's how he comes off to me in the show sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like that can be me a lot too, where I'm just like running my mouth and I'm like, probably shouldn't have said that. Or you jump in, like you, or you jump into a situation because you want, like, you're excited about something, and then you're like, oh, I'm out of my depth. Like, you don't think about the consequences ahead of time. Like, I feel that.
Absolutely. Somebody in the chat says Varen, which isn't somebody I usually see associated with you. I do love Varen, of course. Um,
Team
that's
Varen.
interesting. I don't know that I
Oh,
have
you've
a.
got your Team Baron on. Yay.
Oh, you do, Team Varen.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Nice.
That's a t-shirt I made.
I have my all paths are paved with dagger shirt on.
That's cool too.
Nice. And I've got my WhatCon
You
shirt on.
guys are all have. I don't have. I have all books and stuff, but I don't buy a lot of the. My merch says, "Ask me about reptiles."
Well, that's important. We get snakes. I
Yes,
mean,
that's true.
foxes.
Well, we will get snakes.
Yeah.
Fingers
So
crossed.
Yes.
yeah, I
For
don't know
sure.
that I like, and that's always a tricky question, like who you relate to. I suppose while reading, kind of, I've always found Nynaeve. I know some people struggle with Nynaeve as a character. My husband hates her, which makes me feel a little bad because I love Nynaeve. I think that part of her charm is the fact that inwardly she's like so contrary. Like she says and thinks the most ridiculous things, and you get it in the show too. Like it's not quite exactly the same, but the whole thing where she's like she's annoyed that men think with their muscles all the while she's like thwacking people and stuff, and I just love that about her. I love how flawed she is, and I really relate to that too, that thing where you have a thought and you realize what a hypocrite you are or whatever. So I do get that about Nynaeve, absolutely. But yeah, I don't know that I relate specifically to anyone. I guess maybe Egwene a little, but that sounds especially in the first couple of books, more so than later on, I guess. So she goes through quite a thing. But as of right now, yeah, like I would be going out learning everything I could. She's very hungry for knowledge, which I get, and experience. So, yep. Okay. In the chat, I'm also curious. Does anybody ever relate to any of the Forsaken, or anyone like I relate to Leandrin, or I don't know, Lanfear or something?
I wouldn't say I
Can't say.
relate. I wouldn't relate to Ishamael, but I understand where he's coming from. I can
Absolutely.
empathize with why he wants to break the wheel.
Yeah.
I get it.
Ishamael
I don't
is.
agree,
He's
but I
like
get it.
he's a Thanos-y character in that you can understand why he's doing what he's doing. Absolutely. Let's see. I'm just looking at the chat real fast. Somebody said Moraine fell either trying to avenge Swan or trying to protect Rand. Okay, no. See, what are they talking about?
I think they're talking about Min's original vision
Okay.
in
Oh, the
season
one
one.
back in season one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
from season 1.
Okay. Okay, that's true. Oh yeah, because she said that Swan would be
Amerlin would be her
Moraine's
downfall.
downfall.
No, she said the Amerlin will be her downfall.
Oh, and
She
we
never
all
said
so,
Shuan.
right.
Yeah.
Full
Okay.
regalia is
So-
how she
In full regalia, yeah.
Oh,
And it was
okay, well,
Elida. Yeah.
And I mean,
Ola
let's
in the
face it,
chat, thank you.
Elida was extra
Yeah.
with her regalia.
Yeah.
Oh yes,
Oh
she
my
was,
gosh.
and she looked
Yeah,
incredible.
the headdress.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
I
Her
don't-
her
Yeah.
sunbeam headdress. It was very Aztec.
That's what
Or
Silver
Inca
said too.
Gaudy.
She came out. She says that's very
Yeah.
Aztec, that look, right?
Yeah.
It was really cool
I
though.
also just want to say I love that actress, and when she showed up in this season, I was like, I was so excited.
That is such a cool story. So the
It's
fandom
incredible.
kind of got her hired. Seriously.
Really?
Yes, they were like, you know who would be great for, it wasn't that part, it was another part, but still it was one of these powerful women. And they're like, you know who'd be great for this part? This woman, this actress, I can't say her name, Shoria
Shoray.
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 Agdashu.
Agadashu. Okay, Agadashu.
Shoray
That's it.
Agdashu.
Want to get her name right. And so people were like just kind of pestering her about it and talking about it online. And the showrunner and her got in contact. He's like, that's a good idea. And then she's like, now I'm talking to him. And then she got hired. It was for a slightly different part, but clearly she definitely works as an Aes Sedai, 100%. Love that actress too. Loved her in, God, what, I just saw her in something else. But yeah,
The
she's
Expanse.
The Expanse
in The
is
Expanse.
so
So
good.
good.
she's my favorite in that.
So
Absolutely.
good.
Incredible in the Expanse.
Yes. So we are so lucky to
She
have
just
her
shows
in
up
this.
everywhere.
Yeah, she
She was
brings a
in Grimm.
gravitas to Elida's character too. Like, because Elida, I think, can come off a little, I don't know, shallower. And I think she's going to bring a lot more depth to that character, much like Kate Fleetwood is doing with Leandrin. So it doesn't come off like the
100%.
one-dimensional character. Sue.
Although she really embodied Elida with
Yeah.
the pettiness of the way she killed Swan.
That was.
You
Although,
know,
did she look
It was like,
nervous or upset to anyone else while some of that
Oh,
was
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Swan was giving
A
Oh,
lot
her
of
yeah.
people have been discussing this. Her facial expression at the end of Shuan's speech
fear?
made it look like there was fear or there was self-doubt or something.
Oh,
There
yeah.
was Alviarin who turned around and said, "Well, the
And
decision's
enough.
already been made and enough," and killed her.
Yeah,
So it
basically,
was like
Elida stopped
kinda-
speaking once Swan started
Yeah.
her speech.
So
Yeah.
in that moment, it was Alviarin who had all the power, and Elida was completely powerless. She didn't have that power that she had craved for
I didn't
a
know this.
decade or more.
Yeah.
So, and you can see that just
Very
that
petty.
moment after she says, "I'm an Aes Sedai, I can't lie. So, believe what I'm saying. I defy you, Elida." And the whole thing with her being who she was as well, like, and I think that really I think Shoray really, really expressed it as Elida in that moment, in just a moment on her face. Just shows how brilliant she is as an actress and how she can just do one thing on her face and create such expression. But you could see the doubt, you could see the shock and the fear, and I wouldn't be surprised that moment is going to be a catalyst in season 4. It was just so
Definitely.
Moving
brilliant.
forward.
But it was
Yeah.
it
I
was
can see
all
that.
Alvy Aaron. She was the one with the power, and she was one who went enough,
Yep.
and then executed her.
Did you have something you wanted to say, Matt? I saw you start to.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say it's that moment you can see the switch turn of, oh no, what have I done? I am
Yeah.
not ready for this as much as I thought I was.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And you can read it plain as day on her face, and just the face acting in that was just top
Really
notch. So
good.
I just
That's
love
true.
that moment.
Yeah.
I didn't know this.
I'm
Light Blinded
interested in
Fools in
how
our chat.
Laura
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
saw it.
Yeah, that's a good
I'm interested
question.
in how Laura saw all of that because totally fresh, had no idea it was going to go down the way it did and who these people are. So, Laura, how did you see, you know, what Elida was kind of doing and feeling as the whole deposing and killing unfolded?
Yeah, I mean, like for me, it seemed like it just started as she just seemed very triumphant and confident, cocky, just like she
Mm.
was getting her revenge kind of thing. And then yeah, after the speech, maybe a little bit more wavering, but yeah, I definitely saw that pettiness come through.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of how it read to me.
Mm, mm,
That's.
mm.
I saw Daniel Green's reaction video. I don't normally watch reaction videos, but I wanted to see a few for episode 8. And when she came out in that outfit, he said, "Elida, you gaudy bitch."
Yeah, exactly. I feel that.
That's spot on. I didn't notice, but
It was
somebody here
one of
said that
those
Lesbi Nerdy was the one who actually initiated the Shoria casting, kind of putting it out there initially.
on me.
So that
Oh,
is very
cool.
cool. So yeah, she's one of the
Yeah.
like just a well-known YouTuber in the fandom. So that's really cool. I love it when fandoms interact with the with the product and something happens because of it. Anything. It's really cool that we have a chance. Like in the modern era, 30 years ago, this wasn't something we could really do. So it's really fun that we
Right.
can actually have an effect like that. Okay. So Koala had some great questions. She did have why is Matt the best character, but I think we kind of already covered that. Matt is a fan favorite. I'm glad he's a fan favorite for show watchers too, because I've been a little worried that he might not be as charming, but the actor, just love it. So you really like Matt, not just associating with him, but like enjoying him as a character too, Laura.
Yeah, and I know that the recast was for reasons, but I like the new guy. I think he's great.
Donald
Very
Donal
Finn is
is
my
charming.
Matt. Yeah.
fantastic. Donal Finn is fantastic.
Yeah.
And I can't remember who it was that I said it to. The way he's performing, Matt, just makes me think of Irish blokes in general. The ones that go down the pub and have the crack with their mates and just have a laugh and are just, take life in their stride and are real easy going. And it's
I
almost
love
like
it.
he's embodying his own culture, his own people in his performance. And it makes me smile every time he's on screen, just being a bit of the Jack the Lad, you know what I mean? So
Mm,
yeah,
mm.
he's just brilliant. Donal was brilliant.
Okay, so try and keep this going. Where are we? Let's see. Oh, okay, Laura, this is a question that is for you. So, do you think there are any Black Aja left in the tower? And if you do you have any suspects? So, we're not allowed to talk about this, but we want to hear what you have to think.
I do think that there's Black Aja in the tower. Correct me if I'm wrong, but a couple episodes back, there was a gray man that was sent to stop one of the captured Black Aja from saying anything,
Yeah.
which implied that there were other Black Aja that they could have given away. So that makes me think pretty good odds that there's somebody out there. I don't think that I know the remaining Aes Sedai in the tower well enough to have like firm speculations about who though, because a lot of the big players have either they're died or they're off somewhere else on missions. They're not in the tower at present, or they're just people that like I could not see them. Like anybody that was incredibly loyal to Swin, I don't see being Black Aja, but like I was surprised by some of the people the first time, so
Yeah,
Fair.
Naomi
you
got
never do
me.
know.
I didn't think
Got
Naomi.
me.
Yeah,
I really
Yeah.
thought Naomi was just a sweet girl. She was just a sweet guy. Like,
yeah,
That
that
one
was
hurt.
a shock.
That hurt so much.
Or-
It hurt so much. I actually shouted at the television, "Oh no, don't you dare make her Black Aja."
No, she's
And Drew was working from home,
Yeah.
and all he could hear was me shouting at the television.
I think that's a good question.
Oh.
There's not a lot of named Aes Sedai who we know left in the tower. So there are two groups that are out. Of course, the Reds that got sent out, I assume, will be coming back. But the whole group that Swan sent out, even them, what do we know? 2 of them? 3 of their names? Like, for casual viewers especially, it's going to be harder to keep track of. It starts to have a Game of Thrones problem. And this is, no spoilers, but just a book fact. What is there? 7? No, there's more. 2,100 named characters in Wheel of Time. And I think for
I
the
think
Aes
it's
Sedai, it's like 12.
2,787.
And
Yeah.
Aes Sedai, it's like
Something like
1,200
that.
of them are Aes Sedai. It's-
my God.
with S names.
I know.
All their names start with
All
the
their names
letter
start
S.
with an S.
Oh, start with
Um,
S.
which is
And a
kind of the joke.
backstory.
But
Yeah.
even in the show, when they're trimming out most of that, there's still necessary characters, and it does remind me of Game of Thrones, because we'd be watching that, and I'd read the books, and my husband hadn't, and so he would just give nicknames to characters because he couldn't keep track of their names. So they would just be like, dude with a beard or Lord Friendzone or whatever. So he couldn't keep track. And I get it. We're going to have that same issue, I think, with show watchers, where they're trying to keep track of all these secondary and third, tertiary characters, but they do become important. That's
sure.
why they're there. So, yeah.
I'm a big fan of Spear Sisters. I call them the Spear Sisters.
Yeah. You are
I
a big
can't-
fan
But could
of
any of them be dark friends? Could
That's
any
a
of
good
them be
question.
dark friends?
Oh, Bane and Giads.
So there's
I mean, we
Bane
already
and
saw
Giad.
Melindra, so could there be more?
It's a good
Not out of
question.
the question.
Or even the
Oh,
wise
it's a question
ones.
for Laura only. We can't say anything.
Maybe.
Is there anybody you suspect, I guess, in general, of being a dark friend and or Black Aja? Anybody in the show who's remaining? Who hasn't been named outright? As one, I mean.
I think it would be interesting. I'm not saying I'm suspecting this, but it would be interesting if a warder was, because it's like it would be hard to hide that when you have the bond. And
So
like
just the
that would
warder,
be
not
like
his Aes Sedai. That's an
yeah,
interesting
like
idea.
an even bigger betrayal, just like a way to get into the tower if you're not Aes Sedai.
That's interesting. I think we saw that
Interesting.
happen reverse in the beginning of the season, sort of, because
Exactly.
that green
Jane.
Yeah, she said something that indicated her warders were not dark friends, and they were getting killed, and she was enjoying it. So that was messed up. All right, let's see.
And
we
did
answered
that
that
make her
question.
hair go white?
Oh, with the streak.
Oh yeah, she had
The loss of the waters?
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
creepy.
That wouldn't surprise me. I'm sure she enjoyed that as much as she enjoyed them dying. So she would wear it like a badge of honor, like she does in Tanjiko.
She does too. So, as far as we talked about what we found most surprising about episode 8. What was like your favorite moment? And this can be really hard because there's a lot of moments going on, but what was everybody's favorite moment? And this one I will start with Laura because I don't want to influence her with our
Right.
review things.
God, it is really hard. There's so many good moments. I mean, Nynaeve embracing her power was just like really cool. That was really cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, I'd say that's right up there for me. Like,
I like
yeah,
that one.
that was awesome to see.
What about you, Matt? Can I go in a circle?
Honestly, the entire Matt and Finn interaction, it was just so engaging for me, trying to pick up the little details, realizing, oh my God, he's hanging from the Ashendarai that is shoved into the door frame. I'm like,
I
Oh
only
wow,
noticed that
there it
on
is.
second rewatch.
Finally.
Mild, it's not really a spoiler. It's because no one's going to know
Oh,
what it is. It's another thing.
yeah.
It's okay. It's okay because it's not like you're telling what it is. But I only noticed on second
Right.
rewatch because it's only in frame for like less than a second,
Hmm.
maybe 1 second.
But
Mhm.
did he
So
grab it?
it just, she
I'm
put
gonna
him
say
down.
yes.
Yeah, that's a good question. What about you,
He better
Koala?
have. Yeah, it's really hard for the whole season, but I think just as a favorite enjoyable, the Finn, I think got me too. And unlike Matt, I knew we were going to get them. I was certain from what we saw, particularly because we saw the Foxhead medallion in that poster.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which
But
is cool.
so enjoyable, so enjoyable. I think they pulled it off in
I'm
a
with,
way that just makes me want to keep rewatching it.
yeah, it was an episode definitely worth rewatching. I'm with Laura on this. I think it was Nynaeve's thing in the book series. It's my favorite. It's one of my like top 5 favorite moments, and I think they did a pretty good justice. So it was done differently, but also the same. Like there were enough similarities and everything in the way it happened, and it just, I know, like I said, I love Nynaeve so much, so I really loved that moment. And speaking of, what about you, Nynaeve?
Um, Gosh, there were so many things. It's so hard to choose. I loved so much. Um, I
Mm.
really loved, well, I did love the Nynaeve and embracing her power. I loved Matt and the Finn. Do you know what really, really moved me? Just a very simple scene at the very start of the episode, and it was Rand picking the squash.
Oh,
Oh,
You know,
No.
I know it's just a very simple scene, and it just embodied Rand in just so much, in just that one moment that he still needed to fulfill his toe, and he was still grieving so much for what happened. And I just loved that little moment. I just thought it was so good.
that's a good one, and it connects to, when he knows he's. It's like there's a moment of acceptance that has to happen too, because he knows what's happening coming towards the end of the episode that he's going to have to do to
Yeah.
break them, and so it's, yeah, it does connect really well.
right.
That's true. Um, Along the same lines, as long as we're talking about the whole season as well, does anybody have like a favorite episode? You don't have to because it can be really hard to pick, or a favorite moment from the season. Again, that can be impossible because it's 8 hours of television to pick one moment. But on this one, I'll go first just to say I know Koala said a lot of people's episode 4. It is for me episode 4. It's the only one I made a video about because for me it does connect a lot to the books. And I was reading, much like Matt, I read them in the 90s. And when I got to, I've been reading a lot of fantasy. I was just kind of a fantasy nerd. And when I got to that scene, it changed the book series for me. That's the scene where I was like,
Mm.
this is a fantasy and I'm enjoying it. And then I got to that scene and I was like, this is way deeper than I thought. And it kind of like put a hook in my brain, that I had to
Mm.
know more. It's like, oh my gosh, the world building in that sequence is something else. And they did such justice to it in the show. Like I was a little worried, I'll be frank, about how they were going to handle it, but just absolutely nailed it. The emotion and the connection to all of history and everything. I just loved it so much. I thought it was beautiful and it had that whole fantasy feel. It was just so well done. And Moraine's turning, that whole, I just really, really liked episode 4. So I'll shut up now. Anybody else have an episode they want to bring up and give some props to, or a scene or something?
I also
Uh,
loved episode 4. Oh, hands down, my favorite episode. It was just brilliant. One of my all-time, out of all the books, one of my all-time favorite scenes. And they just nailed it for me. And it was so full of emotion, and they couldn't have done it better, in my opinion. It was just so brilliant. Yeah, episode 4.
So as a non uh, book reader, Laura, did you have a favorite episode, something that stood out to you, or like something that kind of caught you more this season?
So I'm not even saying this is the best episode, but I gotta shout out the first episode because it just like really hit the ground running and like threw you in the action. And I love the political stuff, and then you get the betrayal and the intrigue, and then you get this cool action sequence, and it was like one of the best season openers I've seen in a fantasy show in a while.
Nice.
Especially, there's just so many shows now that like take a weird break in the middle of the season and they come back and immediately like kneecap themselves. Like they anything that they've built up, they just kind of like squash it, and it's so disappointing. And this was like, nope, we're just taking off. So
Nice. It's good to know that the season started that strong for you. Because
Mm,
yeah, it's
mm.
hooking people. I actually noticed. So I rewatched episode 8 yesterday with Silver, and when I turned it on, it said #2 series in the U.S. So that was a good sign for me
Right.
because I know we're still worried a little bit about season 4 getting renewed, or a lot bit even, and I think that's a good sign. So I'm glad that, like, just for people who are just tuning into the show, that it's like that much of a hook immediately, because that's so important. Because sometimes you watch an episode of something and you're like, and then you just never come back, right?
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So speaking of, in the chat, I did how much do you want season 4, and season 4 we riot is winning. So
Yes. Agreed.
100%.
let's see. So along that line, which storylines are you most excited to follow into season 4? So Laura, you were just talking about you like the political stuff. So are you really into the White Tower politics, that whole storyline?
Yep. And now we've just had this big coup, so I'm like very interested to see where that goes and like what her machinations are. And then just like some of the little MacGuffins that have been put into the story, like I don't, what's going on with that fox necklace? Like what's going on with the key bracelet or whatever? Like
Yeah.
all the things that have come
Mm,
out of
mm.
the Red
Yeah.
Arch. I'm like curious where that's leading. So
Those are good ones. How about you, Koala? Is there a specific storyline you're most interested in? All of them, I know.
All of them. All of
Yeah.
them. But I think that we will get a lot more Matt because he's kind of had the least amount of time. You know, we've just had the Perrin and Rand episode, so I think we'll get some Matt, and maybe Egwene will be a bit more featured in season 4. And yeah, actually, I think I'm really interested to see how they take Egwene on, because she's taken a bit of a backseat this season. Not completely, but the way she's broken up with Rand now, and the way she's dealing with that, and of course they're not going to stay in the threefold land. I hate it being called the Aiel Waste. How dare they? They're not going to, obviously not going to stay there. So I'd be really interested to see where she goes, because the the thing I love most, Laura, is we really don't know. Like
As book
we
readers.
can't talk
Yeah.
deeply with you, because when we theorize, it gets spoilery, but we actually don't know, you know.
And along those lines, for
And
me, that storyline of Perrin in the Two Rivers is the one that I find myself weirdly the most curious about, because
oh,
knowing what
yeah,
happens
I
in the
can't
books,
talk
I'm
about
like,
Gonna
I
that
don't,
go.
like, what are they gonna do now? So I'm super curious about how they're
exactly,
gonna handle it. It's really fascinating. And
because
Fail, his
we have some
girlfriend.
exciting clues.
Yes, the
Yeah.
casting and writing of Fail and that relationship. I don't know. There's just a lot there that I'm actually super excited to see what happens in the Two Rivers in that plot line. So
I'm gonna
um,
see where the detective crew end up, because I it's not gonna go traditionally book route at all, I don't think,
mhm.
because in this series there was a hint about a Forsaken and Camelin. So are they gonna go to Camelin and hunt down the Forsaken who's compulsed everybody? And
That's a good question.
what's gonna go on with Elaine and Tom?
By the way,
There's so much there.
my
Nothing,
husband
I hope.
texted me and wanted me to say he heard me talking about this, and so who he suspects, as a non-book reader entirely, and I don't spoil him on this, is he suspects Tom of being a dark friend. Just want you guys to
Yeah,
Oh.
there
know
are.
that.
Yeah, a lot of people are finding Tom suspect.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah,
So
That's
yeah.
because a lot of
That's
people
a
have been
really
going
good one
down
to
the
follow.
Timodian route, and I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
I
which we
think
shouldn't
there's
say.
some,
Yeah.
no,
yeah,
just
Yeah,
interesting
too
that a
many people have
non
been doing that.
can't
yeah
talk about
non-book
that.
reader. I told him
No.
he knows how the magic system works and stuff. I get into the weird details of that, but he doesn't know where most of the characters are going. So it's always interesting to me to hear what he has to say and what Silver has to say too. So um
Because
lastly,
we like Swan said to Nynaeve, this is how you should be thinking. Don't trust anyone.
Yeah.
Right.
this is
Yeah,
advice for the us watching the show too. Yeah, because
Yeah.
they're
exactly.
making change again. We
Exactly.
don't know what's going to happen. This is an entirely different turning of the wheel, and although the
Yep, don't
characters
trust anyone.
and the world feel right to us, they're making story changes. So there's constant surprises for us. Loyal's
And
death, I
everyone is
think,
so
was probably the
nuanced.
biggest.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No,
Yeah.
go ahead. Everyone is so nuanced.
Well,
Yes.
everyone is so nuanced that
Mm.
good people make poor choices and do things that, I don't like to call them bad things, but you know what I mean. But people don't always do the right thing. And therefore, we get all of those layers of nuance to kind of go, now, is that person, really on the side of the light, or have they got a bit of shadow in them? And I love how nuanced everybody is, because we are seeing that people who are actually on the side of the shadow are not necessarily a bad person through and through, and people who are on the side of the light make mistakes, make bad choices,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and can just be angry and can just
Yep. The world is not
be
divided
real
as
people.
Elida
100%.
shows. The world is not divided into
Right.
good people and dark friends. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not
If
black and
only.
white. It's many shades of gray.
exactly.
So,
And
and
all
then
the colors of the Archer.
Would you say 50 Shades of Grey? Sorry, I couldn't help it. It was there.
It
Sorry.
was there.
So you spoke a little bit, Laura, about how your husband has sort of helped you clear up some things where you're like, so how, this is a question I have for show watchers in general always, is how do you feel about the pacing and about the amount of lore being dropped and exposition? Are there ever moments where you're like, I have no idea what's going on, but you feel it's important, and you're either looking online or asking someone who read the books to try and clarify, like, is that a pretty common experience? How often are you having that? Like, how do you feel overall that the show is delivering that kind of exposition to show watchers?
I feel overall that it's pretty good. I mean, for as dense as this is, it's really coming across pretty well.
Good.
I kind of have a love-hate relationship with, on the one hand, I love that they're trusting the audience and that they're not, stopping every 2 seconds to be like, so this is why this thing, and like over explaining. But on the other hand, it's like, if you've never read the names and the languages and seen stuff written down, or you don't know the backstory of something, they'll bring something up a few times and I'm like, get the general gist of what this is. Like, I'll have to rewatch things a few times to be like, okay, I understand. Like, Kara Karn, I'm just kind of like guessing that means like chief of chiefs or something like that, but I
it's
don't really
exactly
know.
Chief of Chiefs. That's
Exactly
exactly what
means.
it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly it.
Really good guess there. Exactly spot on. Yeah, I was
But it
wondering when
wasn't
they
until,
say
like, the
those
30th time I heard it.
locations, like when they mention a city or something, you're like, where was the city? Like, does the world feel big but also like confusing? Like, where?
Yeah. It's got that like later Game of Thrones thing where it's like they're suddenly in a different place, and it doesn't bother me. But never having seen a map or anything, I really have no idea how far apart these places are, where they are in the world connected to each other. But I do understand, like, I get the gist of the cultures of each group, just based on costuming and interaction and that sort of thing. So I feel like that's really well developed in the show.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Just
no, the
don't.
costuming for each place is really well developed. It gives
very
you
Mhm. Yeah.
distinct
cultures.
culture separations and everything, like every, so you don't feel like you're just gone to another city in the same place and everybody's still wearing the same clothes. They've created so much identity for every country and every part of the Westlands, so it's very identifiably a different place. And I think that's brilliantly done in the show.
And I do love that it's
Very
not
handsome.
all like medieval or Renaissance inspired because
100%.
the book is not. It's supposed to be more 16, 17, 1800s, and you get that it does read, I think. You get kind of that more of a post-Renaissance era feel. French Revolution kind of era.
Let them eat cake.
Yeah, I mean, so they're in Kyrie and they really nailed that era. That's what it
Yeah.
looks like, right? Um,
Favorite costumes.
yeah,
Favorite costumes are the Kyrian costumes. I even created my first ever cosplay based on those costumes
that's great. I was
because I
just at
felt they were
Joann's. It's shutting down, and I'm like, I want to buy some stuff to make a cosplay for something in the Wheel of Time, but I love all of it so much. I don't want to just I mean, every outfit that Moraine wears, of course, is like iconic, but I'm like, what do I do? I don't even know. I'm so overwhelmed because there's so many good choices. Like I want all of them. So I'm still thinking about it. So who are you? Do you have a cosplay in mind that you're working on then, Nynaeve?
well, I made it for last year for Malkieri Con. I based it because I found that a lot of the Kyrian fashion was very couture. It made me think of very 1940s, 1950s Christian Dior, like the new fashion, the new style that he brought out back then. And I found a pattern that was called the walkaway dress, which was essentially created as a mimic of a Christian Dior of the Christian Dior style, and you could do it in a day, hardly, but make it in the morning and walk out to lunch and then in the afternoon. But it doesn't.
Nice.
It takes longer. So I use that as the basis for costume, which Koala's actually seen, because she was at NCOM with me last year. It's just because I loved the style so much
That's
of
cool.
Kyrian, and there was that not Oriental, sorry, wrong word, forgive me. Very bad of me to use that. A real Japanese style feel to it. So I even got a giant um, frog fastener and put it onto the side with like that Asian feel to it, that Japanese feel to
Mm-hmm.
the dress.
That cloture
So
of yeah.
yeah, so I
Laura's
wanted to
big into
bring that
cosplay.
out
Have you been
more.
inspired by any of the costumes in this, just even a little bit?
I kind of have a mixed thing because, as you know, I'm more of a closet cosplayer. Like, I try to nail details and I do a lot of alterations, but I am not a seamstress, so I can't make things from scratch. So I'm a little bit limited in that
Yeah.
way. Where these are some really complex costumes. I think that they would be hard to nail, um, just doing it the way that I do. They are very cool, though. I would absolutely love to cosplay some of these characters, but whether or not I could pull it off is a different story.
Yeah, there are some difficult. I had the same problem. I do some seamstress stuff, but I just don't have the energy lately to make something from scratch. So that was one of the things I was like, could you thrift some stuff and just alter it? Like, and I think that some of the Tanchico um, outfits are a lot more doable, right? They look a lot more
Yeah.
like something that you could just make yourself definitely out of what you can find. Like you said, closet cosplay, I think is a great description.
Yeah, you could
Um,
probably
Well,
do
so
men. I bet you could
yeah,
do men
Min.
without having to make too
yeah,
many
men
alterations.
men would be pretty cool. But like
Yeah.
with the Tanchico costumes, just go down to your local vintage shop and look for things very 1970s, and
Very
you'd probably
70s.
find something
Matt's
perfect,
coat.
perfect for it. You know?
I'm just glad Matt's in something different than that rag he was wearing all through season one and part of season two, because that poor coat, threadbare thing.
Go down coat.
Definitely. Looks like we lost Matt. I'm going to see if he got disconnected, if I got him back here. Nope, he must have lost. Maybe 3 o'clock, maybe he had to go and we were all hammering at him.
This is yapping. I'll see if he's messaged
Okay.
elsewhere. because I think we've all been having tech issues today. His whole
Yeah,
computer has crashed and he's currently rebooting.
it's been a thing for sure. Did I cover
God,
everything?
yeah.
So,
I have a question for Laura.
okay.
The scene with the
Yes.
bale fire. Do you understand what actually happened to Jaina when she got hit with the bale fire rod by Elaine? Isn't actually
I
clear
don't
for non-book
know.
readers.
Like the only thing that I really got for certain was that she seemed to have like time was almost reversed for her and her actions by a minute, because it wasn't just that she was reversed. Like the slit she put in the ceiling got healed
Hmm.
too.
Hmm.
So I get that, and then I asked my husband about it because I did want it was muddy enough that I wanted clarification, but I don't think I can say what he said because it would be considered a spoiler.
Spoiler. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
From
if
the
he's
book.
right, then yes, I understand. But if he's remembering it wrong, then no, I still don't totally understand.
Which is
You can tell me
interesting
in the
to ask.
chat.
Well, we were just
Can I
just wondering
go
because
on?
I wasn't sure if it was clear enough for people who were show only, compared to
Hmm.
book people.
So, talking to three people that were book or haven't read the books. I mean, Silver's read the first three books, but they all seem to have a pretty good grasp. I think they did a really good job visually representing enough of a grasp for the first time you see
Hmm.
it. Like they did a really good job of like the special effects. I really think they did a good job, honestly, from what I'm hearing from people. Is like
They
they got
did,
it.
yeah.
They got it.
Good. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the magic
And can I
in
just say
general.
that
Oh, go
book
ahead,
read
Koala.
sorry. Book readers are confused about Balefire. There is a lot of misinformation
Yep.
about Balefire. Yeah. And
So I thought this
yeah.
season, the way they did the power in general looked great. Like all of the difference between the true power and, Sidar and
Hmm.
Saidin. Also, I wanted to bring this up just because. So at the beginning of this episode, episode 8, when we were in the past, we saw a keeper who was calling a vote. That actress's name is Rebecca. Oh, I had this. Okay, I missed it. I
Oh,
apologize.
Rebecca Roos.
Rebecca Rusch. So
Rebecca
this is
Roos.
something that has come
Yeah.
up in the fandom because one of the things that hasn't aged entirely well about the Wheel of Time is that it has gendered magic. And so there's always the question about what about people that are intersex? What about people that are trans? That sort of thing. And I love personally that Rafe answered that question because Rebecca Rusch is a trans woman. And just by showing the fact that she is an Aes Sedai, that shows how the power works. I thought it was really brilliant. It was a show don't tell. It was a tiny moment. I just wanted to bring it up because it made me really happy when I found out about that. I thought it was very cool that it was covered, but they didn't make a big fuss about it, right? So I thought that was really cool. So yeah, that's how the power works. I thought that was really, I don't know, just brilliantly handled by Rafe. So, and the showrunners.
Yeah.
So very cool moment, and it was just like blink or you'll miss it, but it's there. So yeah, but I did. So for Laura, when Lanfear gets upset at the end thereafter, Rand pushes her away and says, "You're a monster." And she uses this twice. So then she uses it again when she's fighting Moraine. And she has like the black power and her eyes look different. Did you understand what was happening there at all? Or were you curious or?
I just kind of assumed that the chosen or the forsaken, whatever we're calling them, that they've been given like extra special powers of some kind that's like specific to them, because we see them acting in different ways, and I assume that has something to do with the way her power presents, but I don't know exactly what it does.
I think that's a good assumption to start with at the point that we're at. So that's cool. Yeah, I think that's actually a really good assumption. Does anybody else have any questions, like show only questions? As we quit, Rebecca Root. Thank you, Rapunzel. Yeah, also had some good scenes in Flack. I haven't seen that yet. Something I'll have to check out. Do we want to pester Laura about anything else, or are we done poking at her?
I've got a question.
Mm.
Is Rand insane? That's for Laura.
What happened? I think it cut out. What was it?
Oh, sorry. Is Rand insane?
Oh,
Ooh.
I
Because
would
that's what
say,
they're all worried about, you know.
yeah. I would say not yet, but we'll
Yet.
see.
But it's a concern. It's a
I think
concern.
that there's like small moments, especially when he's channeling the power, that like you can see it kind of taken over a little bit. But I think that when we see him, most of the time he still seems pretty rational to me. I don't think that
Mhm.
he's crazy yet.
All right. I don't have any other further questions. I don't think that I was able to come up with on my own. This is a great breakdown of episode 8, though. I think we all had like a lot of Matt's back. Let me bring him in. We had a lot of theories, and some of them we were spot on, and some of them we were so far off it was kind of crazy, which is one of those things that is fun that they're doing for us. On the one hand, people want the book accuracy, but what's enjoyable about this slightly different retelling of it is that we don't know. They can surprise us just as much. And that's fantastic. That's just an amazing thing. Like I said, I know that I was yelling at the screen. Like I cry through half of these episodes, even during non-emotional parts, because I'm just so invested. And I'll get Matt in there just a sec. I'm so emotionally invested in the story. But when Loyal started hitting the ground with the hammer, I was legitimately
I sobbed.
starting to stand up, and I was like, no, Loyal, no. And my husband's like, are you okay? No, I'm not okay. Like, I was so surprised by that.
Yeah,
It
I
was
cried like
interesting.
a baby.
Let me try again.
When I did the rewatch, I like went back and watched the scene where he's talking to oh my god, everybody's names are like
Parent?
It's okay.
Perrin. And you can see those like little moments of hesitation on his face when Perrin's like, oh, go back home, write the book about us. And it's like he knew he wasn't coming back.
Did he know at that point? Yeah, he did seem to suspect that he wasn't coming back. That's a good point. I am not. Matt's back, and I cannot get his link working here.
Oh, Matt.
Wait, one more second. Let me try again. Copy. Hello? Why are you not working? It's like it's not copying for me. One sec. I'm having my own tech. What is with the tech today? Honest to goodness.
It is a tech issues day.
Oh, we're all having issues today. Like it's crazy.
Well, touching a lot of wood. I've not been having any yet.
Well, my sincere
I'm gonna
apologies,
rub
Matt.
some of that good
I
juju
don't know
our
what's going
direction,
on.
Koala. Send
Like
some
it
of that
popped
good
back up,
tech
but he's not
vibes
there.
to us.
Why? I don't understand what's going on here. I have
Well,
never
we're
had
all
this happen
frozen on
before.
my screen, so
Yeah, it's just nothing's
we've
happening.
been frozen on my screen for like 50 minutes. So
Wow. Well, my sincere apologies, Matt. We'll say goodbye to you from here because I don't know what's going on. I've literally never had this one happen. Like it just pop somebody in and they pop right in. So I don't know why it's not working. That's so weird. Anyway, weird. Okay. Well, thank you all guys for showing up, making time for this. We're all crossing our fingers for season 4, the announcement that we'll get it, and that we haven't seen that it's canceled. We haven't seen other. I know we've waited before between for other shows, Amazon, and I know you said there's some issues with Sony. But the fact that we haven't. Oh, I did see some positive articles from a couple of the actors who have said some things that indicate that they feel like they're going to get season 4.
yeah.
So that's good.
Yosha, I think, has said some stuff that has implied that they feel very positive that they're going to get it.
Yeah.
I saw an article. What was it? Forbes, I think it was, seemed to be indicating we're due to get the news soon of renewal. So I'm starting to wonder if we're going to get it this weekend at JordanCon. So fingers crossed we'll get
They don't usually do much for JordanCon, but there's a Comic-Con coming up very soon, and we expect, because that's a much bigger platform to do an
Yeah,
announcement
yeah.
on. I did hear yesterday, and I don't know if this is true, but let's just theories are always good. Rotten Tomatoes accidentally they published a list of shows that had been canned and had been renewed, and Wheel of Time was on the renewed list.
Oh.
Saw the list.
then-
I got
and then
very
they-
excited about it.
And then they
I did
took
see
it
the
down,
list and I got very excited.
and then they took it down
Yeah.
again. So
I have a
yeah.
screenshot of it somewhere.
I hadn't heard
Oh,
that. That's
cool.
awesome.
So
But
you know, we can't
those
count
say
on it
season
because they
3,
took
not
it back
season
down.
4.
Because they should not have put it up, obviously, if it hasn't been announced. But the fact that they have that information in the background makes
That's
me
hopeful.
feel more confident than I've been feeling.
Okay, our outgoing question. This is a tough one. Ready? Last question, everybody. Everyone has to answer. Weep for Manetheren or Hills of Tanchico? I know they're nothing alike. You still only get to pick one. Laura, which one do you like?
Hills of Tanchico.
Looks like that's what Koala. What about you, Nynaeve?
Hills of Tanchico.
Yeah, I know. Weep for Manetheren like breaks. I love it, but Hills of Tanchico
It's
is
incredible. But Hills of Tanchico is
Yeah.
just
I
It's
literally
just
came home that
touching.
day. We were out all day. I got home. I was exhausted. I had been going through my head so much that I set up my camera and filmed that stupid thing because it was legitimately, I'm like, I can't stop thinking about this stupid little ditty so much that I just had to. So yeah, it's an
Yeah.
addictive song. I think I love
So
the music we're
addictive.
getting. That's fun. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for coming and talking about the Wheel of Time. I'm just really happy to see like people that are just show watchers are enjoying it so much and that you have people and the book is like selling like hotcakes again, I guess I've heard and yeah, and I'm also
Yeah.
happy to see show watchers that struggled with it in season 1 and season 2 that didn't like it so much are back on board. I think it's such, I don't know, it's a really positive direction and it's kind of like giving me life this month, I guess. so thanks for making time, Laura. It was really great to hear your thoughts on the show.
Of
And
course.
as
Thanks for
always-
having me.
Of course.
Yeah,
and as always,
it's
Koala and
lovely.
Nynaeve and Matt in the background. Matt, I'm so sorry about the technical difficulties. I'll have it fixed. We'll work it out next time. So, but thank you all for coming. And thanks in the chat for showing
Thank
up.
you.
Yeah. We'll see you guys all next time. Bye.
See you
Bye-bye.
later.